Rereading is a hell of a thing. It can really turn you around on a book, can't it? I, for example, hated Lolita when I first read it, but when I reread it a couple years later, my opinion changed completely. I actually saw what Nabokov was trying to do, and it made the reading experience infinitely more rewarding. Well, I reread another classic recently, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. I read this on my e-reader, don't have an actual copy. I also read it in high school, I think, and I don't remember that much of the reading experience. I didn't feel strongly enough about it one way or the other, you know? I picked it back up as part of preparation for a longer video that I'm working on, and today I'd like to talk about one thing I think is noteworthy about Huckleberry Finn. One thing that is a little broad, admittedly, but then again, so am I. For those of you who don't know, this book is commonly considered to be the grandfather of American literature. If you like American books at all, by this I mean books written in the United States, then you have Mark Twain to thank for writing this book and basically inventing them as an institution. It follows the titular character, who's around 13 or 14, as he flees his abusive father, salvages a raft, and floats down the Mississippi River with an escaped slave named Jim. Adventures, as they tend to, ensue. The novel was published in 1884 and has received extensive praise for its realism and innovation in prose stylings, but criticism as well for its extensive use of racial slurs and caricature. For this video, which is meant to be kind of a quick hitter, I'm going to acknowledge the difficulties a modern audience may have in enjoying or even excusing Huck Finn, but I'm not going to dive into the nuances of it here. It'd be better for you to read the thing and make up your mind on the book for yourself, anyhow. The bigoted language is important to address, even if it's in a small way, because the one thing I'd like to talk about today is the way the book is narrated. The innovation that is on display here is simply wonderful. It is wholly plausible for the length of the novel that you are reading a book written by a barely literate 14-year-old. Twain makes note of this in one of the novel's prefaces, his justification being that the characters must sound distinct from one another in order for the novel to be believable. In terms of narrative voice, he absolutely accomplishes this. Huck, the narrator, he has as believable a voice as I've read in any novel. It's great fun to read, for the most part. The "I reckons," the embryonic logic Huck Finn employs to reason himself out of situations, and perhaps my favorite, the misspelled words which make you go, "What?" before you read the word out loud in a Southern accent and realize what Huck is trying to say. Huck Finn is far from a perfect book. Twain employs the vernacular of a child of the American South pre-Civil War. This involves exactly what you think it does, and it involves a lot of it. A bulk of the discussion about the book is whether or not it's racist. Despite the harmful language the book contains, Huck goes out of his way to help Jim escape slavery multiple times and feels terribly when he behaves poorly towards his friend, which Jim is well before the halfway point of the book. Then again, Huck shows precious little interest in the end of slavery or even curiosity about it as an institution. Why? Because he is stupid, and he is 14, and he lives in the slavery-era South. He's a prisoner of his time. That's where he was brought up. And according to Twain, despite all of these barriers in place that might prevent Huck from being a good person, he has a good heart at the end of it all. It's these contradictions that make the book compelling. The book is made much more interesting to read because of how honestly Huck is written and how honestly the times are captured. There is contradiction on almost every single page of Huck Finn, contradiction that can devalue the book. I'm not claiming it's without flaw or that you need to love it, but you do need to read it if you want to understand where American literature comes from. Its complete disregard for literary standards and convention allow for a wholly unique reading experience, one that you can feel the echoes of every time an author sets out to write a book that has a voice outside of their own. Also, the Pulitzer for Fiction in 2025 went to a radical rewrite of Huck Finn by Percival Everett, who's an excellent author, so we clearly haven't left this book in the past yet. We're not able to. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn will make you uncomfortable, but I think we forgot somewhere along the line that books not only can do that, but that they are supposed to do that. This is a valuable read, even if it's not my favorite, and it almost assuredly won't be yours. That being said, we all have to start somewhere. I think that about wraps it up. This has been One Thing About Huckleberry Finn. There'll be a big video coming soon. I hope to see you then, and thank you for your time.